This interview with John Kelly, CEO of Kelly Benefit Strategies and founder of the Kelly Benefit Strategies team, which is now Rally Cycling, and also chairman of the inaugural Maryland Cycling Classic, the biggest one-day event in the U.S. John, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Good to be here.
And give us a little bit of background, I think, as a lot of people know you within the sport, what you've done to found what I think a lot of people look at as America's team now, and run us through the evolution of what it's been like to see a team, where it was, and then where it's at right now at the Pro Tour level.
Great. Wow. Well, my background in cycling, I have a background in athletics. I played lacrosse in college. And for me, I started doing triathlons to stay in shape for lacrosse. And when I finished college, I really liked the bike a lot. And I wanted to go on a mission trip after college. And I saw that an organization called Athletes in Action had a cycling ministry, and they were going on a trip to Europe. And I had applied for that. And I thought I'd just pump tires and learn how to ride a bike and race a bike and be able to share my faith and do something giving back before I kind of went into the work world. And I ended up getting accepted on that trip. And the guy running the trip was Dave Brown. And Dave's the father of Nathan Brown and Johnny Brown. And he sent me a training program and said, just ride your bike and see what happens. And I rode and ended up going out to Colorado for this training camp. And we ended up not going to Europe. There was some shutdown going on in that time in the 80s, late 80s. We ended up going to Costa Rica, where Dave grew up as a missionary kid and raced down there. And Dave said, John, you're racing. So I kind of had gotten licensed and was racing at the time. And maybe I was a Cat 3. And I started racing down there with Dave, and he just taught me how to ride a bike and race a bike. And when I came back, I probably got into our family business, but I raced bikes for 5 years, probably just a committed amateur, Cat 2 level type guy, and enjoyed the sport. But as I began to work in the business, I learned a lot from cycling: endurance, discipline, recovery, teamwork. And as I built our business together with my brothers, I realized that I could use this to communicate what we do. And I started using cycling to illustrate what we do as a business, which is essentially we work with employers to help them design, manage, administer, and deliver their benefits. And I used the concept of the hub of a wheel to illustrate our benefit administration and technology, and the mechanic to illustrate the role of an expert helping people design the right plans. And then the business was the cyclist who committed themselves fully to what they do and needed to rely on others to make sure their bikes worked and they had the right pieces to the time. And so that went like that. And I worked really hard in the business and got married, started having kids. And 10 years later, I think I had 4 or 5 kids at the time. I have 6 of them with my wife, T, of 30 years. And I started thinking about the sport again, and the local club came to me, and we committed to sponsoring the local club here in Baltimore, which is the Kelly Benefit Strategies Lateral Stress Velo program today. And shortly after I began that sponsorship, I met Charles Aaron, who was living here in Baltimore. And Charles had been running a pro mountain bike team for a number of years and wanted to start a road team. And I really liked Charles, and I liked his vision for the sport and for how to do the right thing in the sport. And I committed and got the approval of my family to commit to using cycling to market who we are and what we do. And took us a couple years to launch it, because I'm not a Rally or a UHC. We're a small family business. At the time, we were probably 90 employees. Today, we're 500. But we made a commitment, and we found eventually a co-title sponsor. In that first year, it was Medifast. And you built a team together with Charles. And over time, it became Kelly Benefit Strategies Medifast, and then Contour, and then Kelly Benefit Strategies presented by Optum, and then Kelly Benefit Strategies, Optum, and then Optum presented by Kelly Benefit Strategies, and then Optum as a whole, and then Rally. And Optum and Rally are part of the United Health Group family. So as this team grew, and the commitment from United Health Group through Rally and Optum grew, it outpaced my capacity to be the financial lead. But I'm proud of what, together with Charles, we've co-founded, and I'm still involved with the team and still a sponsor of the team. And, very, very close with Charles, and very proud of what we've built. That's now Rally Pro Cycling, and a D2 Continental team racing around the world. So it's just exciting to see what began with an idea with Charles and myself has come to such a great place. It's extremely exciting.
So the Maryland Cycling Classic is September 5, 2021. The inaugural issue was supposed to be in 2020. You were asked to be chair in the fall of 2019. What things have you had to navigate, noting the COVID stress as a pandemic on the event? And then also, as the chairman of this event, it's got to be exciting, noting that in its first year, it's going to be the biggest race in the U.S. For 2022.
Well, it was an exciting opportunity. I grew up in Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. And when I saw that the UCI had granted Baltimore through you guys and Medalist and Visit Baltimore and Maryland Sports the right to put on this race and put it on the UCI calendar, Terry Hasseltine approached me and asked me to be the chair of the host committee, which I gladly accepted for a variety of reasons. Mostly, I think Baltimore is a great place. It's got a rich history in cycling, and it's a beautiful community, and the surrounding areas around Baltimore are beautiful. And I feel like, with all the stuff going on in our country today and some of the riots we experienced here in Baltimore, it got a bad rap, and I think it's beautiful, and I want to feature the beauty of Baltimore and help people see the goodness of Baltimore. So that was my primary motivator. And then, of course, loving the sport of cycling and recognizing how it can swing through communities and just bring visibility and excitement. And, we were rolling and meeting and connecting with you guys, and we secured a title sponsorship from United Healthcare. But COVID hit, and I think by God's grace, we made the right decision to postpone it, because we didn't know what the future was going to be. It gave us a chance to really boot up our sponsorship and get this thing done right. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was definitely the right decision. So in 2021, this is going to be a really first-class event. I'm excited to be starting at the Kelly Benefits headquarters in Sparks and going through some great areas of Baltimore County, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I think people will see how beautiful it is. Many of our pro riders, when they come here and train, and many have, think it's one of the most beautiful areas in the country that they've been to. The training is just exceptional. It's hilly and punchy, and it won't be easy. And then we're going to finish in the city with circuits that I think will just be really exciting and good for our community. So I'm excited about it, and we still got a ways to go, but we're making real progress. And to see this thing come to fruition is going to be amazing. It's Labor Day weekend 2021, and more about what's around it than I do and can speak to, but it's going to be a fantastic weekend.
So when you look at the entire weekend, and I know it's been cognizant by design, and as a business leader in Baltimore, it goes beyond the realms of the bike. And I wonder if you could just comment on what it means for Baltimore businesses to really evaluate and take a look at this world-class event, but also some of the spokes that go off the event, which include community engagement, health and wellness, and then there's an experiential component with this new event called the Prologue, which would be a symposium on contemporary topics in sport and cycling. That's done by design, obviously, and give us your sense of what that means for Baltimore businesses, for governmental leaders to host that under the guise of a 4-day festival.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to bring people to Baltimore. You saw what happened at Richmond Worlds, and I know that was a heavy lift for the guys that and the folks down in that area, and they worked hard to bring it, and it was a phenomenal event on U.S. soil. Um, I think we can put something similar together here to benefit our community and bring people in from this region and around the country. The visibility of cycling worldwide is extraordinary. Um, it's one of the biggest sports in the world, viewers. And what's unique about cycling is people watch the race live, but they watch reruns. And so there's a lot of benefit to our community, not just the economic boost of what's going to happen over the weekend, but the a reintroduction to the sport through the prologue. And we've got a what we're calling the Bridges of Hope ride on Saturday, the day before the event, to benefit the United Healthcare Children's Foundation. That'll start at our headquarters. And the United Healthcare Children's Foundation provides resources to families whose children are sick and they can't afford it and in healthcare. And so that's really exciting. We supported that event, and it started this event 2 years ago from our headquarters. But to marry it together with this event and make it part of the chairman's ride and bring people together into our community that can enjoy the prologue on Friday night, the Bridges of Hope on Saturday, which will go across some of the course, much of the course in northern Baltimore County, and then the race on Sunday. I mean, I think this can be a boost to our economy and to our visibility as a city and a state that I think will be very positive and will have lasting effects. We also feel confident that we can build something that can last, similar to what we've built with Rally, that's built on a foundation that's capable of lasting. Beyond just winning bike races, but bigger than that. And that's what I'm hoping to see out of this when we bring it together with giving back to the community through Bridges of Hope and featuring the businesses in our community. Baltimore is the home of Hopkins Medicine, which is, number one in the world, and University of Maryland Medicine, which is, one of the top academic tertiary hospitals and systems in the country. And I'm hoping we can feature some of the benefits that they bring both to this community and worldwide with some of the stuff they're doing. And so we're still working on pulling it all together the way we kind of see it fitting, that. And, but, you build something first by laying a solid foundation, and then something that can last beyond 1 year and that we can build on. And so I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
So final question, John. Maryland now will become the epicenter for road cycling in 2021. And what makes Baltimore and what makes Maryland so unique? You touched on the history, which had the first pro championships in 1985, which actually finished, probably very close to where the finish for the Maryland Cycling Classic will be. There was the Tour de Trump that finished in Ann Arbor, and then the Tour de Pont, which went through Baltimore and Maryland throughout the 90s. So it's kind of back to the future in some ways. What makes this such a fertile ground for world-class cycling?
Well, I mean, it's got great roads. It's a great town. I remember, I think Eric Heiden won the first national championship here, which is incredible. I think we're bringing back some of the legends. I saw Davis Finney win here. As a kid, I remember being in Baltimore for DuPont and Trump. Baltimore has a rich cycling community and a lot of people committed to the sport. Bobby Phillips, I think, was a legend that's won more bike races than almost anybody, came from Baltimore. And, there's just a lot of history here, I think, for the sport. But I think Maryland is a unique place. We've got the coast and we've got the mountains and we've got a lot of things in between. And, this could be something that could be bigger than what a one-day race is. Maybe a combination of races, maybe someday becoming a stage race of some sort. You've seen the U.S. Nationals in Cumberland and Hagerstown out west Maryland have been the last couple of years. So there's just a lot of people that love the sport here and are committed to it at a multitude of levels. And so I think it's got an opportunity to connect to our history while building something new for today and the future.
Anything to add, John?
just how excited I am and honored to be the host chair. I think that the sport of cycling um, combines humanity and technology to create efficiency, which is what a lot of business is about. And I think it promotes healthy lifestyle. When I think about healthcare, I think America treats people, better than any country in the world in terms of our health care. We're the place people come to get their care. We're not the healthiest nation in the world. And I think it's because we're cluttered with our roads. And I think we should be hopefully seeing people more connected to bicycles and alternate means of transportation. And all of us have kids learned how to ride a bike, most of us. And I just hope it becomes something we can enjoy for both pleasure, commuting, and other things. So I think cycling connects a number of things for people. And I think people are going to enjoy it and hopefully see that in a fresh way in our community, around the country, and around the world. America is a great place for cycling, and we're hoping to be a catalyst to bring events across our country back in a way that can benefit the sport as well.
Great. Well, thanks, John, for being a guest here on the inaugural podcast for the Maryland Cycling Classic. Look forward to great things here in 2021.
You and medalist and the folks involved here in the city of Baltimore, a very committed group of people behind this thing. It's going to be first class, and I'm glad to be part of it. So thank you.